All right, team. Next, we're going to go through the spiky bowl, through your glutes, hip flexors and TFL, and we're also going to get into the groin a little bit as well. So just a bit of a warning, this one can be quite tender. So find yourself one of these little trigger bowls and it will, you will not like it, but very, very good for you, unlocking the hips and taking a bit of tension, particularly out of the back, particularly with your knees and your lower back, because especially with your knees, whatever's going on at the hips can really kind of dictate how that knee kind of performs. So what I'm going to get Ben to do, we're going to start off through the right leg. So you're going to bring both feet in towards the hips, cross your right foot over your left thigh, and then we're going to lift the hips up, and then we're going to roll through the hip glutes. So once again, we're kind of going up and down. We're only working within a pretty short range with this one, but you can actually move your hip, kind of rotate it around, and that's pretty tender. You don't always have to move. If you find a tender spot, you can just sit on it. So we're gonna go through that for a little while, and the next one I'm gonna get Ben to run through. So we're gonna go through a little bit more in that kind of lateral hip. I'm gonna get him to lie down on his right side, so he's facing you guys. And then there's a little bit of a space between the top of the pelvis and a little bone in the side of the femur. So what Ben's gonna do is he's gonna lift up and he's gonna pop it in through there. This one can be a real hot spot for some people. So he's just gonna kind of rotate, move it around. And how does that feel, Ben? Pretty bad. And then once you find a really tender spot, what you can actually do, you can actually bring this right leg up, take it through a little bit of range, and then straighten it back out. So we're actually taking the tissues through a little bit of range while you've got that trigger point. So that's through the glutes, and then next we're going to move on through the hip flexors. So let's spin around, Ben. I'm going to turn around, buddy. So now still on that right leg, we're going to go through the hip flexors. So little bone in the front of the femur, front of the pelvis, sorry, and we're just going to work below there. Yep. So we got there, yep. So that ASIS, and we're working below it. No, that's above it. Yep. So we're just working around, and then particularly when you get in towards the groin, and you can rotate that foot out, that gets into like your attachment of your adductors, and that can be really painful. And then what Ben can also do as well, he can actually open up his hip, and we're just going to go on the side a little bit more, like that, kind of like 45-degree angle, and that's going to get into your TFL. So a really good one to do if you spend a lot of time sitting down or in a lot of hip flexions. So give those ones a crack, and we hope it helps.